T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up, rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
You're now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. I'm your boy, MJ. Woo! What is good, everybody? It's your first time tapping in. Do your boy a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you're on top of every single podcast that I come out here on the Snake Trap Sessions. And I drop a vlog every Saturday, which is really awesome. Hold on. Oh my gosh. I'm actually going to become, I'm going to do this podcast professional tonight for my own reasons. But what's good, everybody? How's everyone doing? Excited for tonight's episode. I hope everyone's doing good. Shout out to the early birds. See the early birds up in the buildings right there. I see you guys blowing it up. But also, guys, in addition to subscribing, hitting the notification bell, do me a favor and the guest a favor. Hit that like button. Very crucial that you hit that like button. Keeps us very relevant with YouTube and whatnot. And my man Dave has just been around for a minute. He deserves all the likes in the world. So just let's smash that like button for my man Dave. But you guys know how we do this on a Thursday night for the freshest and bestest rodents delivered to your doorstep. There's only one place to go, and that's Cold Blooded Cafe. Day one pinks to the mammoth rats to your doorstep. $30 flat rate shipping. Go to coldbloodedcafe.com. Check them out on Instagram, Facebook, all the above. Shout out to Desiree and Steven for just leading the industry when it comes to frozen thawed rodents and whatnot. They're just very inspiring. I would not have the collection thriving without my cold-blooded cafe rodents. So thank you guys. I appreciate everything that you do for not only me, but for the entire industry. Shout out to John and Alex over at Sim Container. If you got eggs, put them inside of a Sim box. They are the real deal. Less steps. If it's a Sim, it's a win. I'm telling you right now, without having to worry about a food seal wrap. I mean, yeah, you can still use substrate, but I'm telling you, man, anything to make our process easier when breeding or having to handle eggs is for me. I'm all game for it. So go check it out. Sim Containers. I'm telling you right now, they also have an amazing monitor program. All my monitors are strictly on the Sim program. So if you want to see what that's all about, go follow them on Instagram. And yeah, shout out to John and Alex. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to Steven and Ashley, Focus Cube Habitats, Flex in Texas all day, every day. I can't wait for my room I can't wait just to look up and just see all these Focus Cube Habitat enclosures. I'm so stoked, but they're coming. 16 of them bad boys are coming, 3x2x2s. Cannot wait. But guys, go check them out. PVC built enclosures. They got it all for your reptiles. And Flex in Texas, like I said. Thank you, Steve and Ashley. I appreciate you guys' support. Really means a lot. And then, guys, shout out to Freedom Breeder, Jesse, the entire Freedom Breeder crew. big dog shit all day, every day. The leaders when it comes to stainless steel racks built here in the United States. That's Freedom Breeder. You got Freedom Breeder. You already know what I'm talking about, man. For real, it's mad respect. Thank you, Jesse, for everything that you do. Thank you for supporting the trap. And yeah, thank you for helping this industry just thrive when it comes to racks, baby. Jesse's the man. Speaking of man, this is my man. No, not like that, but I'm just saying he's my dog. He's my big dog right here. Shout out to Miguel Garcia, always evolving pythons. Thank you so much for your ongoing support, big dog. And I appreciate you just feeding the hobby nonstop. Great content. You know, I'm telling you right now, this guy's ball python game is through the roof. If you're into ball pythons, if you have ball python projects, then you should be following Miguel Garcia. Go see what kind of work that he has. Because I'm telling you right now, if you want to talk about elevating your ball python game, anything you get from Miguel will elevate that 110%. I'm living proof of that. So thank you, Miguel, for that. Everything you do. Appreciate all the support. Thank you, Tina, Jesse, Aubrey, and Ace. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the support. Love you guys. And then shout out to Alan from Amazing Basins. Big bro right here working with some beautiful looking Amazon basins, emerald basins, which I mean, for me, it's bucket list animal to keep. But this guy right here is one of the few breeding them. Very passionate about his projects. He actually just sent me a sneak peek pic of one of his girls doing a pre-laid shed. So this means that this guy is about to repeat history yet again for himself. And this is amazing. So guys, go check him out on Instagram. I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to go follow this guy's work. If you don't know what basins are, then that's even a bigger reason to go follow this guy, because he's one of the few, like I said, breeding them, but then doing it right when it comes to keeping these beautiful, rare reptiles. The Ferrari of snakes is what you're looking at, in my opinion. We'll see what Dave has to say about basins. This guy's been around a lot of animals. But anyways, thank you, Alan. I appreciate the support. You're doing big dog shit. And I like this. Fingers crossed for that basin girl for you to lay successfully, man. I cannot wait. And then shout out to Blake Stewart Design. If you want to levitate your brand to the next level through the roof, then you're going to want to maybe talk to Blake Stewart. But come correct. I'm telling you right now, this guy will literally change your life if you're really trying to take it there. But he is only for the real deal. To give you an idea who he's helped so far, Garrett Hartle, which is from Reach Out Reptiles, and he was behind the whole brand change with Justin Kabelka to Canova. So big things that this guy has already done. He's just getting started. So shout out to my man Blake Stewart. Go give him a follow on Instagram, SD Identity. And yeah, man, I'm telling you, this guy's going to change the entire reptile industry, one brand change at a time. I'm telling you, this guy's doing big things. Guys, right around the corner, I smell Tinley. Tinley's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. I mean, I have not been to a March Tinley. I've only been to one Tinley. Can you believe that? The original Tinley I was supposed to be at was March 2 years ago. Was it 3 year? 2020, right? Yeah, 2 years ago. So anyways, yeah, first Tinley was supposed to be 2 years ago. Didn't make it. So I'm excited to see what the March Tinley is going to be all about. Let me know if you guys are going to be going. Drop a comment. Real curious to see how many heads are going to be rolling to the March Tinley. But thank you, Bob Ashley. Thank you, Brian Potter, for throwing one of the most amazing shows in the United States by far. And, you know, I appreciate everything you guys do, and I cannot wait to tap in with you guys here in a couple weeks. And then I do want to give another special shout out to my boy Rami, who throws the #1 show on the West Coast by far, and that's Reptile Super Show. If you have not been to a Reptile Super Show, you're sleeping on yourself. You got to make it to those shows, because those shows are amazing. I actually met Dave Kaufman at a Pomona 2018 or 2019, I think, was Reptile Super Show. I can't remember, but I mean, Dave's at all the Reptile Super Shows. I'm just to give you an idea exactly how, you know, what kind of shows those are. So make sure you make it to a Reptile Super Show. I'm telling you right now, if it's in your area, you see it, roll to it, and you can thank me later, because that's where all the connections are made. Excuse me. My God, I need some water. All right. So almost done with this. Let's see. U.S. Art, guys. Let's go. Let's come together. Let's continue to fight. Phil Goss is one man. He's doing everything he can. So let's all do our part as reptile keepers. Come together. Talk about U.S. Art. Shout it out on our stories. Fucking drop a post every now and then. It ain't going to hurt you. All right. And more importantly, just fucking contribute. Do what you got to do. Become a member. And like I said, if you're in a financial position where you can't donate, no big deal. Still talk about it. You know, hustle that shit as hard as you hustle your sticker swaps, you know, like fucking put it out there, because it's very important that every new wave of people come in here understand what US ARC is and what they do, because a lot of these people are now telling it to their local pet shops. Phil just came out with a printable flyer that you could actually print out and just hand out in your area. So man, let's hit the pavement. Let's get moving on this. I'm telling you right now, this is going to, the more work we do, the safer we are in the long run. So Phil Goss, thank you for everything you do. US ARC. If you guys support US ARC, I appreciate you guys so much. Because, you know, we're fighting this together. It's not just an individual thing. It's together. All right. If you guys want to get a hold of me for whatever reason, if you want to see what I'm working with, best way to do that is to hit me up on Instagram, mjexoticscartal with an A, not an E. Very active. I put all my breeding projects, all my ball python availability, all that stuff is on Instagram. So, yeah, hit me up. Shout out to my Instagram followers, and then follow the podcast's Instagram page, Trap Talk with MJ podcast. Shout out to my Twitch viewers. I see the Twitch viewers going up by every episode, so I appreciate all you Twitch viewers out there. And then if you guys would like to support this channel, not that I asked, I appreciate all the support I get, views, likes, all that stuff. But for whatever reason, if you guys want to support this channel more than a subscription or like, you can shoot a donation to Exotics Cartel with an A, not an E, to PayPal. And every live any live super chat that you toss. So if you have a question for Dave, any kind of super chat that is thrown gets immediately donated to US Arc. So just, you know, that's how we roll on Trap Talk. Okay. So let's not be shy with the super chats. Just get any questions that we have for Dave out there, and let's make sure we get them. And then let's make the best of this episode. And not only that, last but not least, shout out to my Patreon members. I love my Patreon members at the bottom of my heart. You guys are like my main motivation right now. You guys are killing it. Well over 100 Patreon members in the family. If you out there want to be a part of a sick-ass community where you get tapped into a Discord with so many different channels, so many different big dogs, new dogs, middle dogs, all sorts of different dogs in the building, but we're talking about different projects, more than just ball pythons, more than just chondros, more than just emeralds. It's about everything. I'm telling you, I don't want to give you too much, but if you want to support this channel, and if you want to become tapped into a sick-ass family, then go down to the link below, okay? Click on the Trap Talk Patreon link, and then join the family. Come fuck with your boy. Come fuck with the trappers. And yeah, man, let's all be together. You know what I mean? But shout out to my Patreon members. I love you guys. What is good with the early birds? Woo! Early birds in the building. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, here we got Julio. What up, Julio? Thanks for tapping in. Appreciate you. Trap Talk family member all day, every day. HB Reptiles, what is good? Trap Talk Patreon family member all day, every day. Thanks for tapping in. What up, Luke? Thanks for tapping in. Luke J. Hendo, Trap Talk family member all day, every day. Thanks for tapping in. Father Blue, what is good? Father Blue, thanks for tapping in. Deviant Glass, one of the sickest glass blowers in the game. Thanks for tapping in, player. By the way, Trap Talk Patreon family member all day. The homie Ryan, high as balls. Trap Talk family member all day. The homie Jacob, Simple Serpents, Trap Talk Management, big time family member all day. What is good? Heathen Hatchery, what is good, Heathen? Thanks for tapping in. Trap Talk family member all day. 1776 Exotics, what is good? Florida in the building. Hope everything's good in Florida, man. What is good, Calvin? My boy right here. Please go get my boy Calvin Garcia. Well, he has one of the diverse young collections that I've seen personally that he's raising up. Over like 10 different species of pythons. Go give my boy Calvin Garcia a follow right now, and hopefully that will motivate him to come out with his actual like logo or some shit. Do something, Calvin. Jesus. Josh, what is good? Scales, fins, and feathers. What is good? I know you have a story you want me to bring up with Dave, right? Something about fishing or some shit like that. We'll talk about that. Don't even trip, my man. What is good? Tyler King, thanks for tapping in. By the way, these two Trap Talk family member, Patreon members all day, every day. Eric Morse Factory, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. The homie Bods Exotics, what is good? Jason, thanks for tapping in. Trap Talk Patreon, one of the new heavy hitters to join the Trap Talk Patreon family members. What is good? I appreciate your support. Vegas in the building, 702 Serpents, what is good? Trap Talk family member all day. The homie Harry, the Mushroom Cowboy from Canada, what is good, player? Thanks for being here. Patreon family member all day, every day. Cole Shram, I like that name. Shram. Did I say that right with two M's? How do you say that? Shrim? That is sick. I like that. Jonathan Stone. I'm Stone too. What do you know? Thanks for being here, Jonathan. Patrick, what is good, buddy? Thanks for being here. What is good, homie? Out of Space Reptiles. Oh, you actually tapped in from your brand account. Attaboy. What up, Sean? The homie Sean Sound Serpents in the building. The homie Derek Pies, by the way, Trap Talk family member all day. All these guys. I got all my Patreon members. Is it all 80 Patreon members here? I love you guys, man. Aurora, what is good? Trap Talk family member all day. Jake, what is good? Jake. Trap Talk Patreon family. I had to get that fly. Hannah Banana, what is good? Thank you, Hannah, for being here. All right, we're gonna do two more. What is good? Solid Serpents. Thanks for tapping in. I appreciate you so much. Let's see, one more, and we have Matthew Summers. Pay me, motherfucker. I'm just kidding. You did not respond to my text though. I love you. Talk to you soon. That's my big bro right here. Well, actually, little bro, but he's my Trap Talk travel management right here. This guy does all my travel stuff, helps me with everything. This is my boy right here. Matthew Summers, MSR in the building. Okay, I lied. Triple G. I got to shout out my boy Triple G. One of the biggest up-and-comers in the game right here is my boy Triple G. Thanks for tapping in. All right. Woo, what's good? 85 of you in the building. Let's be respectable to the likes because, like I said, this man deserves all the likes, all the views in the world. He has put in a lot of work from what I could tell ever since coming in. This guy has been just around. And, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, the stuff that he does is very inspiring. For him to be well known in America, but then also in different countries. This is what I'm talking about, man. But he's here tapping in from the Central. Dave Kaufman of Reptile Adventures. Hi, Dave.
What is up, my dude?
How are you, player?
Hey, hang on a second. Let me make some adjustments here. That camera lied to me. There we go.
You're
wait,
good.
Wait. Let's wait. Not
are you
perfect,
solid?
but all right. Let's start this thing.
What's up, buddy?
Oh man.
How are you?
Just life, man. Really, life's good.
I mean, you've seen a different bunch of phases of life in this industry for what I've seen. Like, you've been in this game for how long now, Dave? How far back do you go with as far as doing what you do with these animals, with the content that you've been putting out?
Well, the content. So I started with the Herpers movies, the Herpers documentaries that I made. And I can't remember, what was the first one? 08 or 09?
Okay.
Something.
Right. And
then 2 and 3, and then the story is that I was going to actually make 4, Herpers 4, and nobody was buying DVDs anymore. Everything was switching to streaming. I had all this footage. I didn't know what to do with it, and driving down the road one day, I was just like, I'm not going to go raise another $30,000 to go release another movie that I know that I can't recoup any money on because nobody's buying DVDs, whatever.
Right.
I was like, throw it up on YouTube, man. I mean, you got to do something with it. And that is what started the channel. Okay.
And then the channel, I mean, you launched your first video on your channel when?
That would have been April 1st, 2014, I think.
Okay. So only there was about a 4-year gap from when you started documenting, for DVDs to transferring over to YouTube. And you said you already had...
Because Herpers, the first Herpers was 09.
Mm-hmm.
And then second Herpers was like 11. Third Herpers was 13. And then the fourth Herpers was going to be 14 or 15. And then, well, we've heard that story. So then I started the channel in 14. And I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I had no clue what YouTube was. I had no clue. If I knew, like everybody says this in their life, right? If you knew what you know now, I would have done things very different in the beginning.
I mean, I would say better late than never is a good saying for you right now, because 2014 is not too bad. I mean, because imagine if you would have started now. Ooh, it's brutal now, bro. Like, poof.
Dude,
I mean,
it is. It is insane how brutal it is out there, and it really makes me worried for the future of YouTube, to be honest.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it really does, because that's why I'm like, fuck, like YouTube only cares what brings the most eyes to the table, and they make that the importance. And a lot of this stuff is like what kids like, the streamers and stuff like that, like. And I don't know. I feel like a lot of that stuff's getting put out there more than animal content right now. You know what I mean? And I mean, I don't know. I talked to Barcheck about this a while ago, but like, I don't know. I heard that certain animal channels, if not all, are taking a significant hit on their views, or it drops very like up and down, which it never used to do that before. But now it's just like it's unpredictable drop and peak and all sorts of stuff. What is that like? I mean, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I'll kind of add to that a little bit.
Right.
That's actually a natural phenomenon on YouTube. It's called seasonality.
Right.
My channel does terrible in December. It does terrible in May. I don't know why May. It just does.
Right.
But obviously it's going to do bad in December. There's a lot of things going on that month.
Right.
And so in May is generally, a very low view turnout on my channel. And really, once you identify that seasonality, and every channel goes through it.
Right.
And if you don't know what it is, you're like, oh my God, my channel is dying. I got to do something different. Well, no, you don't. You just keep uploading and just keep doing what you're doing, because, eventually all the people that are in finals in May are going to graduate, and then they're going to come back in June, and all the people that are opening, holiday presents in December after the 1st of January, they're all going to come back. And so, yeah, it's called seasonality. But so I started this channel in 2014. It was really easy. I mean, I did everything wrong right off the bat, like everything wrong. And the channel still grew. And then in 2016, I started a vlog channel, which now is Dave Kaufman's Animal Adventures. And it was even easy back then. I mean, you know, the stuff was getting suggested by YouTube. You know, my vlogs were getting seen. I you know, grew an audience pretty fast. Flash forward to last April when I start fishing adventures. It's growing so slowly, and I'm having a lot. And even now, knowing what I know about how YouTube works and how YouTube functions, I'm still struggling to even get to appear on search. So if you search in my name, everything reptiles and everything animals comes up. Well, fishing has been up there for a year already. And if you type in my name, it won't even come up that I have a fishing channel yet. So yeah, things have changed at YouTube considerably. And if they keep this going, they are going to discourage so many people from starting new channels that when people like me who are making a living at it, when we're done, what is YouTube attracting to replace us?
Well, I mean, this is where I kind of want to give you props, Dave. Actually, I want to give you a lot of props because based off what I've seen, and I know the numbers fuck with people who have big numbers. Like when these numbers affect, like when they happen, I know it's hard to deal with. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
especially guys making a shit ton of money, like the ones who are making a lot of money. But what I'm saying is, I've never seen you go to the extreme of doing something really stupid with these animals, or like. I love, and like you're like you won't. It's like you won't sell out. You know what I mean? And
that's a conflict, dude. That is a major conflict with me, because if I did stupid stuff, yeah, I'm gonna make a lot of money and I'm gonna get a lot of views and I'm gonna get a lot of subscribers.
Right.
But then I'm gonna undo everything that I've dedicated my life to, just for views, just for money. No.
Which what I'm trying to say is, now look, those views and money, they're not getting, that's going down more and more and more.
Yeah.
And now they, you know, these people have been getting, you know, I'm not just generalities, I'm not just in the industry, but anyone who's been making money off YouTube for so long has been living a life that's just not really feasible for the most part. Like the way
it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable, but you know, because they don't know better. They're just like, oh, this money.
Exactly right.
And then once YouTube just like starts making a little rules here and there, monetizing, dude, it's just, now what? What are you gonna do?
That's my greatest fear right now. My greatest fear is that, yes, I'm successful on YouTube. Yes, I'm making a living off of YouTube. Yes, I'm traveling the world. But am I gonna be doing that in 10 years? And if I'm not, well, then I've got to join a workforce when I'm an old man, working, you know, competing with people half my age that are willing to work for half the money I'm willing to work for. My future is not really bright, to be honest, when you think about it that way.
Right.
But on the other hand, I'm never going to quit YouTube. I'm going to die on YouTube.
And good for you. I feel like only because it's a passion of yours. Putting out this stuff that you put out, it's something that makes you feel good. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, at the end of the day, like, it's unfortunate that, you know, there's not like I know YouTube works with you as a team when you get so big at a certain point, but like, you know,
they don't anymore.
Oh, they don't. Okay, yeah, go figure.
No, they used to. If you hit 100,000 subscribers, they used to assign somebody to you to work with you, to help you better market, to help you better understand the algorithm. They don't do that anymore.
What I was gonna say is, like, it would be cool if they did. That way, if you're like, hey, I have an idea, I want to start another channel, they would be like, all right, let's get this guy in the same algorithm of his current channel or something like that.
That's exactly my complaint, and I talk to YouTube about that all the time. That the people that are established, they should be making 2, 3, multiple channels, and YouTube should not be treating them as if they are first day on YouTube.
Yeah.
They've
more like first year.
Right.
They make, bro, it's like, I'll never forget, like, you know, Miguel, he was like my final push on, like, dude, just start a YouTube channel. And I was like, all right. And I remember I spent like 4 hours on my first video, and I remember I put it out, and I was like, I'm not gonna look at the like, I'm not gonna look at the views, I'm not gonna look at nothing, you know. And I waited the next day, and there was like 32 views, and I was so hurt. I was like, 32 views. And then you see like 3 people liked it. So, you know, that means there's that many people watching that didn't even like it. You know what I mean? So,
but that's normal. That's totally normal.
Right. But, you know, that's just
Yeah. What's that? I'm totally cutting you out. We got a delay here, so it's going to be weird, but whatever. But yeah, 10% of your views, like 10% of your viewers should be liking the video. If you have that ratio from a 10% like to view ratio, that's pretty dang good.
I break the shit out of that ratio on this podcast. This podcast is like 100 100. Dude, YouTube, I'll tell you what, I went after YouTube, not really, but they were taking away my likes. So so check this out. Cusco, me and him had our last live. When it ended, we had 165 likes. Like, and I applauded everyone for how many likes we had. The next day, 40 likes. It went all the way down to 40.
But
and I was
that could be a glitch. Did it stay that way?
It stayed. It's still right now. It's at like 68 right now. I'm like, what? I was like, this is so not right. I was like,
that's
and
bonkers.
I went. Yeah, so I hit up YouTube and they're like, oh, they said basically don't worry about it, but it happened more than once. So I'm kind of like, yo, this is like, I am kind of worried about it because, you know, you're telling me, oh, don't worry about what the numbers say, but that's what you guys are looking at. Like, you shady bastards. Like, what the fuck? Like it's not even about the money. I don't care about the money. I want it's a satisfaction thing to me because I do put a lot of work.
My mood is dependent on how many views I get. I mean, it is ridiculous. And every time I catch myself being like, well, that video didn't do very well, I'm going to be depressed for a week until I upload my next video. No, I'm like, dude, who are you? Why are you being depressed over this ridiculousness?
But bro, nobody shares their frustrations through their thumbnails or through their YouTube videos more than Brian Cusco, bro. Like if he's not hitting a lot, he'll come out like, all right, I'm done. Fuck you guys.
Oh, and I get the calls before that, and I always,
oh my God,
you know, Cusco is one of those people that deserves to be in the 100,000 club. I mean, he really does, and it's just criminal that he's not.
It cringes me that he's not. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's why I don't believe it. I don't fall for this shit. I don't believe it. It's bullshit. It's not that it's not bullshit, but like, dude, it's not fair. Like Cusco from the start has been putting nothing but top quality editing shit out there.
I couldn't agree more.
And like ever since the monetizing thing, it just his growth stopped. Like not really altogether, but like the momentum he had, like it was growing fast.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why he's suffering as much as he is and struggling on YouTube as much as he is. It's because he cut his fucking hair. I told him not to do that,
dude,
and he went and fucking did it anyway.
He, as much as he wants to say he was cool with it, I could see in his soul he was hurting that he cut his hair.
Oh, dude, I think about cutting this. I think of cutting this off all the time, and I know that 5 seconds after I do it, I'm going to regret it, and I'm going to start growing it out again that moment. Like, it's not even a thing. I
can picture you with short hair instantly. Do you remember how weird Cusco looked when he had short hair? He looked like a fucking lesbian. Like he had like a straight butch hair. I was like, Cusco, like he looked like a young kid too. Like he looked
he went from one extreme to another. Like I was jealous of his hair. I wasn't ready. And he just went bzzz, and I'm like, dude, like, you know, layer it up or do something. I mean, that was just, that was shocking. And YouTube did not appreciate it. And that's, I think, what's hurting his channel.
All right. So let's kind of talk a little bit more about, because from when I first came across your channels, I noticed you did a lot of traveling and, I mean, when was your last trip? When was the last time? Was it with Dan or when you go
Costa Rica last November?
That's right. Quetzal's place. Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. How was that?
Phenomenal. I mean, so we were in New Caledonia together, Quetzal and I. He was on that expedition back in 2018, and he was telling me about the zoo that was the first time that I heard about it because I live under a rock apparently. And he was telling me, I got this little zoo in Costa Rica. It's not even in San Jose. It's in the middle of nowhere, and I don't know. It's a pretty cool place. And I said back then, I'm gonna one day get to Costa Rica and I'm gonna film this place. And so flash forward, 3.5 years, I finally get down there. This place is amazing. I mean, freaking amazing. And Quetzal completely undersells it. He really does. What he has built there is amazing, and I cannot wait to see what he's building in Texas now.
I have. Did you see the video I put out? The vlog? Dude, it doesn't do it justice.
It's going to be amazing.
It's nuts. That's all I got to say. And I can't wait because, that's just going to be such a like iconic hangout. Like so many people are going to be meeting at that spot and just like I don't know.
Every Arlington and RBC, we're gonna make a
Gonna be the
pilgrimage.
spot. I'm telling you,
Right.
I can't wait. Which is amazing because I mean, let me ask you this, Dave. You for as long as you've been around, on the like relationship you've had with people that are in the industry, like the bar checks and like the Jays. How far back do you go with them? Like, did you kind of start off like in like knowing them, or like what's your relationship with them? I'm just curious.
Brian Barczyk was in the original Herpers,
Okay,
and
cool.
and he didn't know who I was. Obviously, nobody really in the industry knew who I was when I set out to make Herpers. As a matter of fact, when Herpers first came out, people started freaking out that it was done by a non-Herper making, you know, a video about, or making a movie about how Herpers are just, you know, these weird, crazy, which we are. But
Right.
you know, to Brian's credit, he didn't know who I was, but I got his number from Brian Potter, called him up, and he was the nicest guy. And he was like, I'd be happy to be a part of this. You know, I'm 4 hours from Tinley. When you come to film, come to my place and we'll film a whole segment. And I was like ecstatic that I got Brian Barczyk in this movie. And, you know,
Wow.
we've been friends ever since. And, you know, Brian is one of those people that just does not deserve the shit that he gets. And I'm just going to say that flat out. I mean, I don't understand it. It just,
well, especially Dave, especially because there's so many people who deserve to get shit right now. Like there are like blatantly people out there who are the biggest scumbags, but yet how come there's no hate groups on them? How come there's no fucking pitchforks? Where's all this like, go ahead.
Because of Brian's popularity and Brian says, the bigger that you are, the more haters that you're going to get. And that's the nature of the business. And it doesn't matter if it's YouTube. It doesn't matter if it's TV or movies. The bigger you are, the more bullshit that comes your way.
It's scary. It's scary.
You know, you just have to wade through it, get through it.
And you got and it's, you know, some people who aren't so easy at taking criticism. Like, dude, I'm pretty good at showing it off, but sometimes I'm not, you know, and you the more you put stuff out there, the more you're putting yourself out there against a troll or against somebody who's going to have something.
Yeah. And I gotta say, you know, going back to Brian Barczyk,
yeah,
he was the one. I attribute my channel to him, and so many people out there that have reptile channels really have to attribute their channel in some way to Brian. He was the pioneer with it, and
100%.
You know, back in 2014, when I had that idea to just throw all the footage up on YouTube, he was the first one that I called and said, what do you think about this? And he was the one who said, do it. And so, you know, I kind of had that blessing from Barczyk, and that's what really started my channel. If Brian would have said, you know, don't do it, YouTube is a lot of, and he didn't. I mean, he didn't say, oh, YouTube is great. He took the time, he took hours on the phone with me to tell me the good and the bad, the pros and the cons of YouTube. And but he wasn't discouraging,
because he knew that YouTube needed another person like yourself to be putting out content. Like he wasn't selfish, you know. Brian's not a selfish person.
No,
you know
he's not. Right.
He's very selfless. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But I want to ask you this, Dave. I mean, the fact that you were already in a mindset to want to do this film, and then you met Barczyk. What was the reasoning to want to even do this film? What was the motivation behind wanting to make this Herper DVD?
So I wanted to make it for people that were on the outside of our industry and didn't understand or didn't even know that we existed. I wanted to do this before somebody else who wasn't in our industry did it, because it was a matter of time before somebody did. And I didn't want this movie to be done by somebody that was going to make us look like a bunch of freaking idiots, whatever, Tiger King, blah, 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 sensationalistic bullshit. And the fact that I made this film, I can never say if it deterred other filmmakers from making a video or making a movie on this subject. It may have, because you know, filmmakers don't like to do something that somebody has already done. It's, you know, if it's somebody already did it, they move on to a different project. So maybe I diverted somebody out there that, you know, is a Tiger King type of film producer from making this, you know, movie on us. I don't know. But my intent for this movie was I want to show our moms, our dads, our uncles exactly who we are and what we do. And I want to show it in a light that even if you're not a herper, you're going to like this movie and have that song stuck in your head for the rest of your lives.
At that time of your life, what was going on? I mean, were you just like,
I was having a very lucrative career as an independent filmmaker. I made a horror movie before that and shot it for $75,000. It went on to gross millions worldwide.
What horror movie, dude? Let's talk about it.
All right. So it's called 13 Hours in a Warehouse. We shot it in a warehouse in Minneapolis. We shot it with a tiny little budget. And it went on to win like a dozen awards. It was released through Lionsgate. But here's the reality of independent film.
Right.
Yes, it grossed. I think to date it's probably grossed $5 million on a $75,000 film. Okay. And yes, it won all these awards. And yes, it went out through Lionsgate. And yes, it went out globally. It was in Russia. It was in, which I want those pulled now. But it was in Europe. It was in China. It was all over the world. So here's the reality of independent film. I made $16,000. That's it. Not a penny more. So my craft and my script and my movie made people millionaires out there, and I am not one of them. And that is the reality of independent film. And so there was another film that I wanted to do.
So you have to be, what you're trying to say is you already have to be rich getting into filming. You better already have money is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you don't have a penny, you're not going to even be taken seriously by investors because, investors want to invest with people that already have money.
Right.
They don't want to invest with somebody that's like, hey, I'm just up and coming. Can you take a chance with me? Of course, they're not going to take a chance with you. It took me 10 years to raise $75,000 for this movie.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
But what I feel like filmmakers out there who broke through the independent filmmaking, like sacrificed probably so much money and just like,
you have no idea the sacrifice.
Probably never made it. Probably didn't make a dime to like their 10th film or some shit. You know what I mean?
Right. So anyway, I wanted to do documentaries before I went on and made other horror films. And then in the midst of all that, Blockbuster closed their doors. And when Blockbuster did that, it took almost the entire independent film world with them. And the reason why is because Blockbuster was the one chain that distributors could say, I'm going to sell 50,000 DVDs to the Blockbuster chain, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, whatever. They knew that they had Blockbuster to sell that massive chunk of DVDs to, and therefore they could give the filmmaker an advance on sales that they then give back to their investors, which I did. But with Blockbuster not being there anymore and everything moving towards streaming, it killed the independent film world because now we lost this avenue to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in a single sale. And then, it all goes to streaming. And now Netflix and Hulu is the kings. And they're going to give you less than a penny per view. And so there's no money to be made by going out and raising money to make an independent film with the delivery system with the distribution system being only, internet streaming, because there's no money in it.
Things that happen in my... Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and so that's why I kept making Herpers movies. Because that's all that I had to do at that time was to make these movies and sell them on, basically out of the back of my car at reptile expos. And that sustained me for a few years. And then I was waiting to see, I was talking with all the independent film producers out there and seeing what they were going to do. And a lot of them moved into commercials and a lot of them moved into this. And as soon as I said, I think I'm going to go to YouTube, everybody laughed. And then 5 years later, everybody started calling me and saying, okay, so how do you do this YouTube thing again?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad that I made the decision when I did. But yeah, if Blockbuster didn't close their doors, I probably would have done these 3 films or these 4 films and then moved back into the horror world.
Blockbuster closing down was like something I was not ready to accept in my life. I was like, because I I hit a point in my life, bro, where I had like 200 DVD collection. Like I had a stack, but like I still went to Blockbuster. Like I would still go. Like that was like a thing. Like I, as a kid, like you understand, I had such a great childhood because going to the movie store, like that was like, you know, renting movies on a Friday night, getting pizza, all that stuff. Like
that was the thing to do.
Blockbuster had that, like, I don't know what it was, like a mix of new plastic and the tape, and then the candy section when you walk by it. There was just so much heavenly smells in a Blockbuster, man. And like, I've been to some ghetto Blockbusters, and even the ghetto ones still smell good.
Right.
Fuck.
This is what worries me about YouTube, is that back then, Blockbuster laughed at Netflix.
Wow. This girl's never like hanging out. That's cool.
Hey.
Hi, Megan. Sorry.
Hey, Megan. Megan's video goes up on Saturday on my channel.
I have to give a personal shout out to Megan because she deserves one and she scares me.
She's awesome. She is awesome.
Thanks for being here, Megan.
Anyway, so yeah, going back to the whole Blockbuster thing. So Blockbuster laughed at Netflix when they first came out. Right. Blockbuster said Netflix has 6 months to live. Right. They're going to mail DVDs to people. They're never going to mail them back, and they're going to go under. And now Blockbuster is gone, and Netflix is the king, and that's what worries me about how YouTube is looking at TikTok.
Yeah, damn. I hate TikTok.
Because TikTok could be the new Netflix, and YouTube could be the Blockbuster.
I mean, I'll watch shit on YouTube. I mean, I don't know. I watch everything off YouTube nowadays. I don't watch anything else. I barely watch cable.
Yeah.
I don't watch cable. I watch YouTube. When I have to refer to something, I go to YouTube all the time.
Right.
There's so many podcasts. There's so many things I listen to on YouTube that takes up my day. And I'm just like, no, I don't have time for nothing else. All I do is watch YouTube. And my wife loves 90 Day Fiance. And that's all and that's not by choice. You know, she cooks food. I have to watch it. So whatever. But I don't know. It sucks, bro, because you can't get comfortable with nothing nowadays because it's not forever. Everything changes, bro. But dude, that's how life should be. Life is meant to where.
Think about how boring it would be if it didn't.
Right, exactly. And honestly, I don't think the one thing that I can't wait for this shit to deteriorate is like people who think they can make a living off OnlyFans. You know the OnlyFans thing where fucking they get naked or just do whatever the fuck they want for people.
Right.
That shit, like there's an event that's going to come to a stop for sure. And there's like these girls and I'm sure guys too who make fucking close to $1 million a year, if not more. I mean, I've heard some podcasts, bro. But like, there's something going to crack down with that at some point. I already know it. Like, I
just don't think it's going to crack down. I think that to be honest, I'll go back and add this little nugget, but that not a lot of people know about me. When I moved to LA, the only job that I could get was in porn. And so I worked in porn for a long, long time. And I have seen how that industry has evolved. And yeah, I mean, it has evolved. The internet, if you look at the internet, it has evolved from, people becoming millionaires because they had these subscription-based websites. Well, then Pornhub comes along and destroys all of that. Then OnlyFans comes along, and not only are you now not watching porn, but you can interact with the person that you're actually watching, and it's going to evolve into something else from there. I mean, that industry has evolved so significantly more than any other aspect of the film industry.
And it's crazy.
It all has the same premise.
The number one thing that sells in this world is sex. That's what everyone's money, and it's like,
that's true.
God, that's crazy to think, bro. I mean, I just miss simpler times. I could tell you that.
I don't know if I do. I think about like, okay, if you could go back in time, to any point in your life, where would you go back to? And to be honest, I kind of like it here. I've got this stupid thing that I didn't have 10 years ago. I've got all this information, all the channels that, all the programming that I want to watch. There's really nothing in my life right now that I don't want, that I don't have. And back in the early 90s, well, we didn't know about all this crap. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing, but I'm kind of liking life right now. I wouldn't want to go back to simpler times, and I don't think those times were simpler.
Yeah, I guess
Actually,
you're right.
They were kind of harder.
I mean, they're probably simpler for me because I was a kid. So that's probably why I think they're simpler.
There you go. There you go. Yep. Yep. I was born an adult.
Yeah. Where were you? So where did you like go to school at? Like, what was your up and comings at as a kid?
So I was born right here in Minneapolis,
and
yep, and lived in the same house from 4 years old till 19 when I moved out. And you know, my parents had a house in the suburbs over in New Hope, Minnesota, and I went to Armstrong High School, and after that I was like, you know, I don't think that I really need to go to college right after high school, and as a matter of fact, if I do, I'm going to fail out. And so I took 5 years and just lived and had adventures and got into lots of trouble. And, you know, every single morning that we saw the dawn, that was like a sigh of relief that we survived the night. We did some pretty
gnarly shit.
Pretty awesome shit. Every single night. I mean, every single night was another adventure. I do miss those days. But, you know, then you get a little older, and then I did go to school for the first time and got a degree. And then 10 years later, I went back to school and got another degree. And, you know, I mean, but yeah, my whole life has been here in Minneapolis, except for 2 years in Los Angeles.
So as far as you keeping herps, like when did you start collecting animals?
June 28th, 1992.
Wow. 92. Dude, 92. Hold on. Let me do the math. I was 7. Okay, no, 91. 91, I got my very first ball python. I was 6 years old. I'll never forget that. But 92, nice. Dude, that, I mean, I'll never forget because I don't know. Like I said, there was a whole different like world for reptile people in the 90s. Like it was fucking like, I mean, you kind of know what kind of person, you know, when you saw somebody with fucking ripped jeans, long hair, and fucking no piercings, you know, they had a snake. You know what I mean? Like it's very stereotype what kind of person kept a snake in the 90s. But it was also really fucking cool and interesting because you know, I grew up in Southern Cali and I didn't really know any big snake keepers. I know there was a pet shop, but like I just knew there was a world out there, and I was just so curious, like what the fuck, like who keeps animals like that?
I still remember expos in the 90s. They were held in barns because there wasn't enough people keeping reptiles to constitute what we have today. So that they were literally held in barns. Somebody had a barn, kept some snakes, had some buddies that kept snakes and bred snakes, invited them all to the barn. Those were the first expos. I remember seeing a normal motley corn snake for $100 and thought, there is no freaking way somebody's paying $100 for a snake. Is this guy out of his mind? But at those expos, they you know, they would go from 10 to 4, whatever, just like they do now. But by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, everybody had empty tables.
Right. Sold out.
Yep. So anyway, the reason why I know it's June 28th, 1992 is because I caught my first bull snake on a camping trip. And I knew bull snakes were native to Minnesota, and I had wanted to find one since I was a kid. That was the first one I ever found. And that is what set me back on my love of reptiles.
And you would say that was that moment right there.
That was
right. Got it.
Right. Because everyone a road. And if we were 5 minutes earlier or 5 minutes later, I wouldn't be doing what I am today.
That's true. All because of the timing. Now, was it at nighttime, daytime? What time was it when you found it?
Daytime. Wow. Yep.
What was the disposition like? What was that? Was it docile or?
You know what? It was extremely docile. And if it had acted like a bull snake, I often questioned if it would have scared me away and said, screw this. Where's my guitar? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, because back then I was into music and I was into bands and whatever. Reptiles weren't even on my radar until that day.
I have to ask you. I mean, music's like a big part of my life. As much as reptiles is, music plays a big part. So, what was it with music that was you were passionate about? Like, what instrument did you play?
Guitar.
Oh,
sang a little. We never really did anything with it other than play a few gigs around and just have fun with it and whatever.
You still jam out now? You still play to this day?
Not as much as I'm looking at my guitar over there. It has a broken E string from 2 years ago that I haven't fixed. So that tells you how much I actually, have time to pick up that guitar over there and just kind of jam out. But now that I'm talking about it, I got to get that thing fixed and play it.
So, traveling, man, honestly, I'm getting a little taste of what it's like to, hit up some other people's places and do a little bit of vlogging. But,
Yeah.
you traveled well outside the country before. When was one of your first trips to do some animal content that was not in America? Like, when was one of your first,
Australia, 2012. Yep.
Tell us a little bit about it.
So back then, now if you see me around the expos, you see me with that little handheld camera that is more powerful than a camera this big 10 years ago.
Right.
And I'm so thankful that happened, because I was carrying a camera around the Outback this freaking big that stood on my shoulder, that had to have this big old monopod. And, the majority of my time was filming. It wasn't herping, and it really took away from the experience. But, it is what it is. But I held some pretty big cameras, and I hauled them all over the world. But that first trip to Australia was amazing. I mean, we toured the country, and saw the first scrub pythons in the wild, the first carpet pythons in the wild.
Wow.
First blue tongues in the wild. I mean, it was, if there is a Valhalla for herpers, it is Australia, hands down. And that's why I keep going back every single year. I was supposed to be there this last February, just last month, and they didn't open until 2 weeks after I was supposed to arrive. So that trip was canceled. And I am just thoroughly pissed. I was going to, I had a whole line of like 6 videos for the reptile channel, 6 videos for fishing channel. We were going to go fishing near the Great Barrier Reef, not on the Great Barrier Reef, but near it. And then it all just fell apart because of this stupid fucking virus. And it needs to be over. It needs to be over right now, because I'm sick of this.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I feel like we're just in a stage of adapting more and more to it, but I feel like we are getting to a closer point where things are going to just be left open and we could still continue to live life.
We're not going to cure this thing. It's going to be here.
Yeah.
We're not going to eradicate it anytime soon anyway.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah. So kind of going back to, the Australia trips. I mean, what are some of your tips when it comes to long travels? I mean, you're obviously done a lot of like long traveling, like Australia's how many hours to get to Australia is
15.
15. So what are some things like, what do you recommend? Like if you're going to go on a 15-hour trip or however many trip to Indo or wherever, like what are some do's and don'ts when taking such a long travel?
Bring those little NyQuil pills. Not the liquid form, but bring like a little thing of the NyQuil, and that knocks me out.
Right.
And but you can't sleep on those planes. I mean, you're just you're crammed in like this next to some guy bigger than you on this side, bigger than you on that side. You're going to try to sleep. It's just not going to happen. Most of my flights are spent in the back of the plane talking with the flight attendants. More to the point, bothering the flight attendants. But I'm just very rarely in my seat because I'm just pacing back and forth, and I literally just hang out in the bathrooms because I just don't want to be like
in the chair
on the plane anymore. And that's the only place that I have of like the fortress of solitude. And of course, guys like me, we don't fit in airplane bathrooms anyway. So it's a hard trip. Those flights suck. Yeah. And then once you're there, you kind of have this impending doom that you got to do it all over again on the way back.
And sometimes too, you also have this wave. I mean, I have not experienced 15 hours of travel. I think the most I've ever done was like 7 or something like that. But I do know with like, for instance, the time change, right? That the jet lag, that can go really good or really bad against you. You know what I mean? Like it really depends. How do you usually deal with jet lag? Do you plow through it or what do you do?
Now the airlines have figured out when to do their schedules so that jet lag really isn't an issue. So like, for instance, the flights from LA to Sydney will leave at 10 p.m. Okay. So you're already tired. It's already nighttime. You're going to naturally sleep because that's the time zone you're on. It's now time to sleep. Right. Well, then the plane lands at 8 a.m. So you don't realize that you have just skipped over 48 hours in 15 hours.
Right.
And so you land and it's 8 a.m. and your natural rhythm just picks up from there. And so I never get jet lag going there. But on the way back, I'm wrecked for 2 weeks.
And, is Australia as scary as it says? Like the fucking size of their insects and spiders and like snake. Is everything really massive in Australia? I'm just pretty terrified.
No, it's not. I looked hard for funnel web spiders, saw one.
Okay.
We looked hard for fierce snakes and taipans and a bunch of stuff, and it's Australia has this reputation of as soon as you land, everything's going to come and kill you, and it's not
right.
true. But they do kind of like that reputation. They do. It's a cool reputation to have. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, respect, because I mean,
right.
if you go to the right places, it is true the way Australia it is. I mean, I'm just saying Australia is like the land of the fucking dinosaurs still. You know what I mean? Like,
it is. And Brian Cusco is still laughing to this day at this, but we were trying to film that thorny devil that we found. And I was getting attacked by these ants, and these were ants like this big. I mean, they were just monsters. Oof. And ants, certain ant species, a lot of them, if one of them stings you, that releases pheromones for the entire bivouac to come and attack.
Yeah.
And these ants, I mean, it felt like I was shot in the foot with a bullet.
Oh my God.
And then another one, and then another one. And I need to get my shot. It's about to rain. We've got a 6-hour drive back. Everybody's waiting on me to get my shot with this thorny devil, and I'm getting attacked by ants. So yeah, I mean, there are some things there that can be pretty dangerous, but most of the stuff out there, you leave it alone, it leaves you alone. Which leave it alone.
What are some of the bigger monitor species that you've seen out in Australia?
So we went out to go see Parentes. It was the first time that I was in Parentes range. We saw a dead one.
Sad.
Big bummer. But we've more than I can count, because monitors are everywhere.
Driving.
I mean, we would go to a barbecue and 7 lace monitors would smell the barbecue and just like squirrels, coming up to you in a park.
Oh
they just
my
wander
God.
right up to you. And lace monitors are everywhere. And then red ackies are really common. You just see them. You just drive by and you see them on the rocks, and you're just like Ackie. And but yeah, the Parenti is the one that I really wanted to see, because I don't know when the next time I'm going to be in the interior is. And to be honest, if you guys have watched those videos, from the minute the sun comes up to the minute the sun goes down, you are swarmed with flies. And these flies don't just bug you like gnats. They fly in your eyes, they fly up your nose, they fly in your ear, they fly down your throat, because what they want moisture. And so they're going to hone in on all the orifices of your face that are spewing moisture, and they're going to make a beeline right to it. And so there were times where I literally had to take my hands into cups and scrape the flies out of my eyes. And it was constant.
What do you rock? Oh, you rock one of those fucking hat nets or some shit.
Dude. Come on.
No? I would. See, here's the thing,
man,
Dave.
Those don't work.
Dave, I keep it. Dave, I keep it 100. Okay, I am not a herper, bro. Like I'm just not built like that. I give respect to all my homies. I mean, I'm down to see something sick, but the hours they invest of just being out there, just waiting and looking, and they're all so excited. I'm not I'm very if I'm too hot and shit, I'm like Forrest. Did you ever go out with Forrest before? You see him? You hear he complains? I'm definitely
dude, I live in Minnesota. It's a warm day today, and it's not even 30 degrees out there.
Wow.
So for me to get out there at 80 or 90, yeah, I'm melt out there, but I'm so hyper focused on wanting to see what I have to see that, I mean, so what if I'm losing 20 pounds in water weight, sweating it off? I'm not going to remember that part. I'm going to remember that I saw the herp that I wanted to see. But this is how I explain herping to people that aren't herpers. That every log that you flip, every board that you flip, every rock that you flip, it's like opening a present. You never know what's going to be there. You never know what you're going to see. And every single thing that you flip, there is that moment of anticipation,
Like,
that
what if?
moment that something awesome is about to happen. And that's why I'm addicted to herping.
That's a gift right there. Because,
Yeah.
you know, and you do it enough, you find shit and you're like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
wow. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will say, shout out to
Why I
Brandon
probably
Wheeler.
love herping.
Brandon Wheeler was in the comments earlier, but shout out to Brandon Wheeler. He took me on my like legit herping trip as an adult. And we
Brandon's awesome.
first thing we saw was a Sidewinder. And I was like, wow, that is fucking
Nice.
awesome. And but that's all we
Nice.
saw for like the rest of the 3 hours. We saw
Yeah, that can happen.
all we saw was a stick bug or something after that. And he
Yeah,
slammed
yeah.
the brakes on. He slams the brakes on for it. I'm knocked out in the back seat. He slams the brakes. My fucking head hits the thing. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, oh shit, get out. And he's like, oh, it's just a stick bug. I'm like, bro, you just put me in
Just
like
a
knocked
stick
me
bug.
on.
Hey, but stick bugs are cool.
Yeah, they are. They're all right. I mean,
Yeah,
it looked like
hurts.
an alien.
Cool.
Looked very alien-ishy. But okay, listen, I'm curious, Dave. You know, one of my passions with monitors is the lace monitors. I do have a pair of Bell Phase lace monitors, so I want to talk a little bit more about. I do want to talk a little bit more about the demographic of where the laces come from. How much is it wet? Like, how wet is it from what you can tell when you visit Australia? Like, how often does it rain? Like, what's the seasons really like from what you know?
So I was going to do, you know, I do that in the wild videos, which I love to do, but man, they are the most difficult videos to do on my channel. I mean, they're difficult to film. They're difficult to edit. There's so much research that I do that goes into every one of those videos that I don't make as many as I want to make. But having said that, I was going to do lace monitors in the wild because they are found. They're just not found in the wet tropical forests. They are found in the outback. They are found in the desert areas. As a matter of fact, that scar right there, I don't know if you guys can see that. That's from a 5-foot lace monitor I took a bite from in Australia. Right on video. It was the funniest damn thing. My friends thought that was the end of the herp trip, that we were going to go to the hospital, and I was like, I put a bandage on it. I was like, "Where's the next spot?"
Did it latch onto you, or did it let go pretty?
It latched on. Yep, it bulldogged me. It latched on. If it had grabbed more, you know, yeah, it could have probably popped some tendons, ripped through some muscles, and well, then yeah, I would have allowed 15 minutes in a hospital to take care of that problem. Then we'd get back out there. But you know, all it did was make me bleed a lot, and who cares? You know, bandage that thing up, get back out there. Yeah, but that one was found in, you know, western, yeah, that was found in western New South Wales in the outback. And so, yeah, the majority of them are found in the eucalyptus forests all along the east coast of Australia, but they do go into the deserts. And I wanted to show that. But the chances of me going out to the outback and finding another lacy, you know, is it going to happen again? So I don't know.
But you're more likely to find them in the foresty area than the outback, you think?
Yeah, in the eucalyptus forests, right?
And
right.
there,
all the way up the coast.
How often does it rain in the forest, you feel like?
You know, they don't get any more or any less than, you know, I would say, you know, our east coast, I guess.
Right.
You know, it floods, and there is a dry season, there is a rainy season, which we don't really have on the east coast of the United States. You know, we have winter, summer, spring, and fall. They have wet season and dry season. Right. But yeah, it's humid. You know, they are more human loving monitors than a lot of the other monitors. That's why, you know, a lot of the lace monitors that are being worked with, you know, are worked with in Florida, because that climate is so similar.
Yeah, I'm in San Diego, so I could kind of get away with it almost too. Like, we do get a little bit colder than Florida, but like, you know, like I think the coldest we get is like 41, 42, which when I hear, like, it could get down to like the high 30s where they're at, if not colder, right? Where sometimes for the laces.
Yeah, but they're in brumation at that point.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But with that being said, what I'm curious is, like, you know, like there's some people out there who don't believe in misting or spraying their animal or spraying their snake, right? Where, like, I personally, from my experience, see that it seems to work for them. Like, they shed great. You know, I see them drinking every time. Not every time, but I just see that it doesn't harm them, right? Now, and then, shout out to Sim Container, but they're not the only ones. There's other monitor breeders who say, "Nah, I don't spray the laces. Like, don't spray the laces." And it's not that I don't spray the laces, but I do see that if they have dry skin, if it does look like it's pretty dry in there, every now and then a little coat on them, they actually come closer to the enclosure, and they want to be sprayed more. So I look at that, I'm like, they're telling me something. You know what I mean? So I was just curious. Did they get rained on? Like, what's,
they get rained on. Yeah, half the year they get rained on. So as far as, misting laces, yeah, you can do it. My rhino iguana over here, I'm never going to mist my rhino iguana. It's a desert species.
Right.
And that's, that's one of the things that I wanted to tell when I just did the Cuban rock iguanas in the wild in Puerto Rico, is that we think that Cyclura are these tropical loving, heat loving, humidity loving reptiles because they live in the Caribbean, and they're not. They're using these microclimates that are essentially deserts on those islands, and people don't even realize that there's patches of desert on most of these islands in the Caribbean, but they are, and that's where the Cycluras are living. And so going back to the Lacey, the Lacey occupies every single habitat basically on the east coast of Australia, from the deserts to the forests to the scrubs to the wherever. But yeah, I mean, it rains, and it rains half the year. And so, yeah, I mean, as far as misting your Lacey's, I don't see a problem with that. Not all the time. You want to simulate those seasons, but yeah.
So, I have to mention the scrubs. I'm a big scrub guy too. Shout out to Stephen Cush from Stephen Cush, King of Scrubs.
Actually, I've been in the room that you're in right now, and you have one of the most jaw-dropping scrubs I've ever seen, dude.
Dude, okay, thanks for bringing that up. Because Dave, can I mention something? Because I mean, I'm not gonna. Dave,
yeah, it's just you and me. I don't think anybody else is watching this right now.
I don't know who gives a shit.
Yeah.
I was very weary when I found out that you wanted to come over to my house. When Garrett's like, "Hey man, Dave Kaufman." I was like, "Yeah, I know Dave Kaufman." He's like, he's in town. Can he come over? And I was like, little concerned, because not that I thought you were a snob, I just didn't think I have anything you cared about. And I was like,
bullshit. You gotta. If you had an eastern garter snake, I would be like, "Oh my god, look at how cool this is."
Yeah, I know. I was just in my own head. I was just in my own head about it. You know what I mean? And I got hit by a car that day, so I just had a lot going on.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But anyways, the first thing you did, obviously, you walked up very, very respectful and said hi. But then when you started, when you walked into this room, I paid attention to your face, and I couldn't help but to pay attention how you loved everything you were looking at. And I was like, and then obviously the scrub, you were like, holy shit, like the scrub. And I didn't even know I had a scrub that nice. I knew it was nice, but I didn't know all you guys thought it was that nice.
Oh, I was like,
yeah. But dude, I just want to say thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming over and paying, that night really inspired the shit out of me, man. As much as that day was rough, that night, man, seeing you really stoked about my collection in the trap and over here was just, it was really tit. So thank you for bringing that up. But
next time I'm down, we're gonna actually film an episode for my channel.
Please, dude. You didn't really get to see the
alpacas.
Did you see the alpacas? You see the alpacas?
No, where were the alpacas?
They were chilling in the back. See, you were too busy freaking off with fucking Cusco, and he was passing out chocolates. Jesus.
As always.
What a night. That was a fun night. Hey, listen,
that was a fun party.
July 30th, which is going to be the weekend of Anaheim Super Show. If you're going to be in town, I'm throwing another barbecue. So if you're in town, please come. That'd be great. June 30th. So it's Thursday.
Have to check the calendar. I don't know.
Just check the calendar. It would be cool if you showed up. But anyways, that was a great time. Sure. But the scrub, okay. So scrubs are significantly bigger in Australia. Am I right? They get a lot bigger. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Now there's a guy, I believe, on the internet who has he's in the river and he's holding this gigantic Australian scrub. He has glasses. He's kind of heavy set. Have you seen that picture? Do you know what I'm talking about? He's in Australia. I was just curious if you knew him because he's kind of I think he's holding what's the world record biggest scrub python in the world or something like that.
If I saw the picture, I'd be like, oh, I know what you're talking about, but I can't pull it out of my ass right now.
How often would you see scrubs in Australia, in the wild, when you would visit?
So when I go to Australia, I try to go to different places on each trip that I haven't been to before. Right. Scrubs are found in the Cape York Peninsula, and Cairns is the main point of entry, the biggest city up there.
Right.
And so I've only been there on the 2012 expedition. We were supposed to go this last month, but well, thank you, COVID. But I'll get up there again. But I've only seen one in the wild.
Check this out. That's the one I'm talking about. Look at that fucking
Oh, wait a
beast.
second. Yeah, it's all black. Hang on. There it is. Oh yeah, I do know that dude.
Yeah, I thought you did. He's like, you know,
yeah.
he's on our,
I cannot picture his name right now, but I have seen that image. Yeah, that's a monster scrub, and the scrubs don't get that big outside of Australia. Like that's that's a oh crap. No, I'm just King Horneye, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yep. And yeah, those are the biggest of the scrubby W's. And the thing about these guys is that they have a reputation for wanting to rip your face off. The one that we found was a 9-footer, absolutely dog tame.
Wow.
I mean, look at this one. That one's
It
at
seems
least.
chill.
See, does it say how big it is? I mean, just from the photo, it looks maybe.
Just says
15-ish?
large. It doesn't say. I mean, I'm thinking it's at least 15 feet, bro.
Yep.
Legit
Look
15.
at it. You can tell by its body posture.
Look
That
at it.
snake it's not showing any aggression whatsoever.
It looks like a retic, bro. Like it looks like the size of a penguin.
Right. Well, retics are now more related to scrubs, and scrubs are more related to retics now that they're finding. So yeah, that's why retics, you know, had their name changed, because they and as work continues, I wouldn't be surprised to find that scrubs and retics are placed in the same genus.
You were a huge influence behind me parting ways with 12 of my mainland retics when you documented the video you did with Dan Maury, and you had footage of these retics stretched out in the wild, like literally like just like branched out, cruising all through the trees. And I was like, dude, these are not ground snakes. Like they are monstrous arboreal snakes. They love to be high. They love the high ground. You know what I mean? And I was like, I got tired of putting them in a box. You know what I mean? And when I saw that was my first footage of seeing a retic in the wild based off that video. So
that guy in the photo is Joe Sambano.
Right.
It just came to me. I saw him, and it just came to me right now. And nobody just texted me in Australia like my friend Ewan and told me that. It just came to me right now. I'm expecting Ewan to tell me to fuck off here in 2 seconds. 1, 2. There must be a delay from Australia. No, my friend Ewan Edwards in Brisbane just told me that's Joe Sambono. Nice. Yeah. Anyway, so what were we talking about?
Scrubs. But yeah, I mean, listen. That's no. The whole retic thing. How I just, you know, because of what I seen, the content you put out, them being in the wild, stretched out over a tree.
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Right.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
If what we found is that if they are under, let's say, 10 feet, they're going to be up in the trees. If they are over 10 feet, they're going to be on the ground.
Right.
And so for a snake in our domestic situation to grow to 10 feet, there's no rhyme or reason to how long it's going to take that animal to grow to 10 feet because of the way that we feed them or don't feed them or whatever. Right. But for the majority of them now, so if you have a python that's a baby to 10 feet, absolutely arboreal, and they should, you know, have taller enclosures. But after 10 feet, they become more terrestrial and they can go in those nice long cages. But and Garrett will, you know, is better to talk about this than I am. But from what I understand, is that all the retics on the islands where dwarfs come from and where, you know, the Kalatoa and all that sort of stuff, there are no trees on those islands. And
really?
And so they are strictly terrestrial because they can't be arboreal.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I don't keep
super dwarf islands don't have trees. Weird.
Yeah, they're basically these coral atolls that just rise. I mean, again, I know all of this from Garrett, but they're just basically these coral atolls that have risen above the sea level and have been turned into islands long enough to have. There's Ewan telling me to fuck off. But but yeah, they have all been turned into islands old enough for the pythons to have found and maintained, established to be established on those islands. This is water. I don't know why I'm acting like it's vodka right now. But not long enough in order for trees to have taken hold on those islands yet, is what I'm saying. Good God, I could have said that in 2 sentences, and instead I just spent the last 5 minutes trying to get that out.
Yeah, you did it. Congrats.
I did it.
You want to fill up your vodka bottle there?
No, it's all right. That's I'm gonna float away. Yeah.
So overall, I mean, if COVID chills the fuck out, which I hope it does, and it looks like it does,
Yeah, I think it's over.
Your next travel agenda is what? Like as far as outside the country?
All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna say it here first on Snake Trap Sessions. You ready?
Woohoo! Say it.
So Ewan, who I was just talking about, we are going to West Africa, and I am going to finally do ball pythons in the wild, but it's not going to be a video. It's going to be an actual documentary, a 90-minute original film, the first for my channel, all about not only what ball pythons are doing in the wild, but where inchies come from, where the pieds come from, how the economic impact in West Africa that is benefited by ball pythons and the craze around the world of ball pythons, and how that has benefited these otherwise impoverished areas of Africa, how they have built temples revering ball pythons.
Wow.
Everything about the culture of ball pythons, how ball pythons are living in the wild, what they're doing out there. So many people have inchies, they don't realize where inchies come from. It's a locality. It's a locality morph of ball python. And so I'm telling that story in a feature-length documentary original film for my channel. We are leaving May 2nd. We are going to be spending the entire month in West Africa filming. And if we can get there, because there's a lot of restrictions. And to get into these countries, you can't go buy a plane ticket and go to stand in line at customs and show them your passport. You have to apply for. No, it's extremely difficult actually. And the things that they request to get your visa, I've been working on these requests now for Brian, ball python, ball python, ball python, ball python, ball python, ball python, ball python. You fucked up yet? Ball python, ball python. But no, you just have to jump through so many hoops to just get your visa, and then they want things like they'll say don't get your plane ticket or make your hotel reservations until you get your visa. But on your visa application, it wants the name, the address, your reservation number, and GPS coordinates of the hotel that you're staying at.
Wow. So
there's a lot of bullshit that we are going through right now that this is why nobody just jumps on a plane and goes to West Africa. I mean, it's pretty difficult to get in.
I know this would be your first time in West Africa, correct? Or
first time in West Africa, yep. Ewan and I have been talking about this trip for 4 years now.
So
we started talking about it in New Caledonia.
From what you know about West Africa, and I'm curious because I feel like there's so many assumptions people do when keeping reptiles that aren't really necessarily the best thing. Like for instance, what's a signature move for any new reptile keeper? They fucking get a snake and get a red bulb. They put the red bulb over, they have like that kind of shit. But I feel like
I don't know.
Overfeeding
we can't shame them for not knowing, but yeah, I know what you're
saying. I'm not shaming. No, I'm saying though,
I'm just saying that
from your knowledge, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No, from your knowledge, though, I mean, how hot do you feel like it's consistently is for a ball python in West Africa? Like, do you feel like a ball python always deserves a 90-degree hotspot? In your opinion?
I'm gonna find that out.
Okay.
So, I
would love to find that out.
Oh yeah. But there's a lot of people that believe that these guys are spending 90% of their time in termite mounds. That's the only security and humidity that they can find out in the bush. I'm going to see if that's true. There was a paper that was written where they are semi-arboreal. That paper is bullshit. That he was talking about an Angolan python. He wasn't talking about a ball python.
Right.
But I'm going to find that out.
Damn,
And,
I'm so excited for you, man.
Yep. So
West
yeah,
Africa.
you and I have been planning this trip for years. We know exactly what we want to do, what we want to see, what we want to show in this movie, and it should be good. It should be really good. But if we can get past all the COVID bullshit and actually get there, we're gonna take off on May 1st, May 2nd, whatever.
And then what's the total travel time for West Africa? Do you know?
So we're going to be on the ground for the entire month, and it's not just ball pythons. There's fat-tailed geckos, there's rock pythons, there's savanna monitors, emperor scorpions.
Any mammals?
There's
Any
so much cool stuff over there.
You gonna document any mammals at all?
What's that?
You gonna document any mammals at all?
As a matter of fact, Ewan told me that there's an isolated population of chimpanzees in Ghana, and if we've got time, I want to go see them in the wild.
Don't get out of the car, please. Do not get out of the car, bro. Oh my God.
In Thailand, I got out of the car with a half a granola bar, and the capuchins absolutely attacked me, and I fought them off. And now I want to try it with chimpanzees because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna win.
I don't fuck with monkeys, bro. Monkeys got crazy power.
No, I don't mess with monkeys. Monkeys are like children on acid. I mean, they are. Yeah, no, I just no.
Did you ever hear that?
Nice to see them. Nice to film them. There's a monkey. Don't throw your shit at me. Okay, keep driving.
If you guys want to hear a fucked up story about a girl named Susan, I believe her name is. She was in Ohio. She had a monkey named Travis. Did you ever hear the story of Travis?
Yeah, I think I know what story this is.
That one, like where like she basically she gave this monkey Xanax because she treated it like a human, and the monkey would fucking freak out, and so she would just give it Xanax. And one time I think she gave it like 6 Xanax or something like that, and it fucking snapped and ate her friend's face off, and like
I do know the story. Yes, so ripped her friend's face off. Yes.
Yeah, and her friend survived it. You guys, I mean, check it out. I came across it on YouTube one night, like a couple years back, and I was up till like 1 a.m. just thinking about how fucked up this was.
Yeah, but are they still friends?
I doubt it. No, because the lady ended up dying.
Oh, man,
no. The lady, the owner of the monkey ended up dying of depression. Like as soon as Travis had to go, she ended up dying shortly after.
I didn't hear that part. That's terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty fucked up. But it was fucked up how this lady's still alive and her face looks like a fucking porcelain doll that got broken. You know, it's sad. It's like, and the horrific phone call, like you hear there's a phone call. It's like, all right, I'm gonna stop. Sorry.
Well, we'll see about the chimps, but I'm that's not really why I'm going over there. But it would be cool to see them. I mean, there's other primate species there that we'll probably see, I'm sure.
But honestly, man, when I hear about animal attacks, like it's unfortunate, but dude, this is what you get, humans, for fucking with something so dangerous. You know what I mean? And my big thing, Dave, I love the animals, like the reptile world. I love. But the one thing I feel like us humans keep proving is that we should not be keeping anything venomous. I don't feel like it's sad to say, but I feel like there's not enough people doing it right. I feel like if you are going to do it, it should be strictly permitted, and you should have a something credited saying why you should do it. But nobody new should be able to come into this and buy a cobra or buy a rattlesnake. Like it shouldn't be that easy, dude. I'm sorry, I know there's so many people that love that shit, but it just shouldn't be that easy, man. If you're gonna free handle right now, I'm gonna get really upset.
Here, I want to show you my rattlesnake.
No, you're not gonna do it. You want to do it.
This is such a sweetheart.
You're not gonna do it. You can't do it.
Look at this. She is just as sweet as an albino pied. I mean, it's just, look at this. I don't understand why people think that this is dangerous right now.
That's cap. Dude, you almost got me.
Just disappeared on me.
I was like, what the fuck? Did he really do that right now? I couldn't believe it. I made promises to fucking big people in this, but I would never do that again.
I don't, here's the thing. I don't keep hots. I don't feel the need to keep hots. If I did, I would love black-tailed rattlesnakes. There's something about this molossus that I absolutely love. But I don't feel the need to keep them. I don't feel the need to, I mean, my life would not be any more enriched if I had one, I guess is what I'm saying. But, if God, it's one of those things that there really is no perfect answer to it. You know, there is no, you certainly can't be black and white about it. But then in that gray area, well, there really is no good answer in that gray area either. So
I mean, there's not much room for mistakes with any kind of venomous. I mean, yeah, you are flipping a coin and whatnot, but like, I mean, like that could ruin like you think about it, right? Like I had a rattlesnake, dude. And honestly, I had only one thing that pissed my wife off out of all the 200 plus snakes I kept. And it was her catching me hold my rattlesnake. I could not keep my hands off of it. No, I just couldn't. I'm somebody who needs to touch it.
Right.
And so I had to admit the fact that I was like, dude, my wife is only getting on my fucking ass because of this goddamn. And I never posted shit, David. This was like myself. I enjoyed it by myself in my room. Yeah. Like this was like a fucking goddamn. It was like a drug, dude. I'm not gonna lie. It felt amazing to just sit there and know that I'm touching something that could just.
Sure, because right.
You know what I mean?
Stimulated the adrenal glands, and I get it.
But I parted ways with it. I let it go because I know that I don't deserve and I'm not meant to keep anything hot like that. And I had to stomach it. And I just feel like other people should really, if you can't keep yourself from kissing your snake for the Instagram views and doing all that stuff with this venomous snake, you should not have a venomous snake. You're creating the wrong examples for the people outside the box. You know what I mean? So
and
I
that's
don't know.
The problem.
Yeah. It is, but it also that leads to like big snakes like retics. You know, not everyone should be keeping retics. You know, or if not anyone. You know, like those are monsters. Those are monsters that should be left alone. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
That's one of the things that Megan and I talked about in the video that's coming out when I was at Megan Kelly's place. We talked about how anacondas are definitely not for everybody. You know, I mean, and the problem with it is that the responsible people that know, well, I'm not working with an anaconda, are always sadly going to be overshadowed by the dude who gets an anaconda to show off to his friends and say, look at this big fucking snake I got. And then there's going to be a problem. And then all of us responsible keepers are painted with that same dumbass brush. And that's the issue. That's the problem.
I think the other problem, I mean, I don't know, there's a fucking list of problems, right? If you really want to go down that shit. But my biggest thing is it's like when you have somebody like yourself, Dave, or even like Barcheck, like I feel like Barcheck is, he rides the line a little bit with his content, but if you go to his place, it's immaculate. It's fucking just top shape, you know? But then, you know, you have other people that don't do or put in the work that he puts in, but has a bigger following than him, and like still associate yourself with somebody like that. Like, I feel like there should just be more cutting off in this hobby. Like, I don't feel like just because somebody's been around for so long, you should either back them up or, you know, kind of just not like put the foot down on certain things. I just feel like there's certain people doing things wrong in this industry for so long and they don't want to evolve, but no one's really checking them. Like, they're just doing their fucking dirt, and it's like,
no, I understand, but
it's fucking up us younger people, you know, or the ones who are just joining. Like, what about us? Like, why are you making us look bad? Like, you know, that's the way I look at it. But
who's going to police that? Who's going to make that decision for somebody else?
Nobody is. They have to want to do it themselves. Like, it's a self change.
And the way to get them to do that is education. The education thus becomes the policing.
Hopefully. Or like, you know, at the end of the day, some people, there's a time and a place where things get through to people's head. And I feel like it needs to be one of those things where hopefully something happens.
Of people that, you know, you say something that goes,
a lot.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But we do what we do, and we do what we can do. And that's all that we can do. Yeah.
So let's kind of talk about the collection you have now. Like, what are you currently keeping right now, Dave? Like, I know you showed a cool ball python, but like, what's your overall vision with what you have?
This is the bakery because I have so many pieds in it.
Nice.
Sorry.
Good one, Dave.
No, but pieds are my thing. Pieds are my jam. They've always been my jam.
For how long? How long do you and Pied go back? And while you're talking, I'm gonna take
I got my first pied in 2013 from Mark Bailey for like $3,000. Maybe it was earlier. I don't remember. But Yeah, I just have always been into pieds. I always loved them. I always loved the way that they looked. When I saw the first lavender pieds that, oh boy, I swear to God, this isn't vodka, it's water. His name is right on the tip of my tongue. You're all shouting his name at me, who did the first lavender pied, and I cannot pull it out of my brain, but I can picture him. I can picture the pied. Good God, somebody comment and refresh my brain. I cannot pull his name out of my head. And it was almost there and I lost it. Anyway, when I first saw those lavender pieds, I was hooked. I was totally hooked. And
wait, what are you trying to?
Hey, who did the first lavender pieds?
Justin?
King, what?
Wasn't it Justin?
No, it was Ralph Davis. There it is. Woo-hoo.
Ralph Davis. Tight.
I could not pull his name out of my head. Yes.
That's an OG right there for sure.
That's an OG. That's a big OG. So yeah, so I've been into pieds, and now I think that the future of ball python morphs, let's say, is going to be clown pieds, and people are going to combine clown with pied, and then all the genes that we have, they're going to stack on top of that. What will essentially become a base morph, which will be clown pied, and I think that's going to be the biggest hit in the future are going to be clown pieds with this gene, this gene, this gene. So most of what I have behind me is all geared towards that eventuality. So I've got axanthic clown pied stuff working. I've got axanthic pastel pied clown stuff working. I've got yellow belly on that. I've got that pied that I just showed you wasn't just an albino, it was an albino yellow belly. That I have another clown with a secret gene on it that I'm trying to prove out right now. So there's a lot of stuff going on in these racks back here, but you know, but I don't want to be the world's first for this. I don't want to be the world's first for that. I don't want to produce a snake that somebody's going to buy for 25 grand. Of course I do. Of course I want to sell a snake for 25 grand, but that's not like the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to really see the person's face at an expo light up because they got a $300 pied. And I will forever love seeing somebody getting their very first pied. And so I produce a lot of normal pieds. Yes, I could put those females to work on something other than just making a bunch of normals or pastels or banana pieds or whatever. But I don't want to not have something for everybody. You know, I don't want to have just the expensive snakes that the majority of the people that go to expos can't afford. I want to have something that they can afford as well. So I do a lot of, you know, single gene pieds as well.
For how long have you been working? For how long have you been working with pied for now? Like how long have you been
producing?
So
I was saying that I bought my first pied from Mark Bailey for like $3 grand. Or maybe I bought 2 for $3 grand.
What year?
13 or 12. No, it was earlier than that. Was it? God dang it.
Visual female or what?
No, I bought a pair. Nice. So yeah, I think I bought a pair for $3 grand in 2013.
Okay.
Maybe it was earlier than that. I just don't even remember. I bet it was earlier than that. I bet it was 08 or 09. Somewhere in there. I do remember paying $3 grand for the pair though.
And then, I mean, and then obviously, you know, pieds went from being a 30K snake, and then it just started like kind of dropping as the years went on. Right. But do you steadily see it dropping lower than 300?
No, this is where it's going to bottom out.
I don't think so. Yeah, I thought so too.
It's going to be $300-400 all day long.
Right.
But what people don't understand is that when Pete Call first proved it out in '97. Pieds were everywhere before that. Pieds have been around since the 60s. They were first discovered by Westerners. When importers would get pieds in before, you know, Pete Call said, hey, wait a minute, this is a thing. Look what I did with this. I could replicate it. I could, you know, whatever.
Right.
When importers would get them in, they would instantly put them in the freezer because they believed that they were ugly snakes, broken snakes. Nobody was going to buy a snake that was half white. What? And so they put them in the freezer for years before 97 because they didn't believe that they could sell them.
The fuck? Whose idea was that? What an idiot.
Jesus. Happened. It was a thing.
Humans are shit, bro. That's so fucked up.
Yeah. They didn't
Spiders I can
they-
see. Okay, I'm just kidding.
That's a whole other podcast right there. But yeah, you know, I mean, before the ball python craze and before people realized what they had, and not people, but these importers, they believed that nobody would buy a snake that had half of its color and pattern missing.
And then now it's like probably everyone's favorite snake overall. Like that pied is what
There you
got
go.
me into this shit.
Right. No,
You know?
I'll always work with pieds. I always love them. And it's funny because as I walk around an expo, like my vision is honed in on seeing those patches of whites on somebody's table. And as soon as I see those little patches of whites, like, you know, brown snake, brown snake, brown snake, brown snake, brown snake, little patches of white, I hone in on the because I see that they're pieds and I want to see what kind of pieds they are.
Right. So for the most part, how many clutches are you producing a year now? Or where are you at with your clutches each year? Like, do you kind of stay at the same number each year, or do you go up and down?
You know, I mean, I don't. So with pieds, I could breed them every single year and I could get clutches every single year. But I don't like to do that because I think that it's too much for the female to take. And naturally, most pieds, and a lot of people that work with pieds, I'm sure will agree with me, is that they skip a year. So female pieds will go every other year. So this entire rack behind me is 21 female pieds. And so adult female pieds, but I'm only getting 10 clutches a year out of them because they're all on, you know, different yearly cycles.
Right.
But I don't, you know, as busy as I am, as much as I travel, I don't ever really want to be 100 clutch type of breeder.
It's a lot, bro. I'm good. I'm good too.
It's more than I would be able to handle at this point.
I mean, and nothing against anyone who's at that level, but I feel like if you're just now coming into this and you're like, I want to be 100 plus clutch breeder. Well, how about you get to 20 first and let me know how you do? Okay. Like, why don't you fucking like get into it?
Right.
Even 10. Yeah, bro. Like
10
even
clutches.
10.
Okay. So let's say you get 8 eggs on the average. Well, so you just produced 80 snakes.
Right.
Taking care of 80 babies, especially finicky ball pythons.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. So yeah, I don't ever really want to be that big a breeder, you know. Maybe when the YouTube stuff is over, yeah. If the YouTube stuff is ever over, maybe I'll get more into, you know, looking for 40 clutches, 50 clutches a year. But right now, I don't want to bite off more than I can chew because it's not me who suffers, it's the animals that suffer if I do that.
And not to say that it is a bad thing, but also like the more deeper you get into your holdbacks, the more deeper you get into your projects, the more room you need, the more shit that gets more difficult. So it's like you got to find a happy medium. I feel like
Absolutely.
Just because you have 100 females, you shouldn't be fucking pairing 100 females. You know what I mean? Like you should like find something that's feasible to where you're not going to be sitting on all your last year's productions and like, you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Like, I don't know. I definitely like I said, there's people who could do it. And, you know, and I feel like those are people who are vending. Those are people who are like really hustling and I give them props, but I don't want to be overwhelmed like that. Like I even feel like my goal at some point in this is to get to 50 and just chill out and be good. I could be full of shit, but I'm just saying, even thinking of 50, I'm just like, you know what I mean?
That's a lot of babies.
Yeah.
That's a lot of babies. And then there's always going to be the babies that need to be assist fed. There's always going to be the babies that will give you one problem or another. And when you're, you know, working with 50 babies, that is a shitload of work.
Right.
And I don't think that people really have a good appreciation of how much work that actually is when they're first starting out and saying, hey, I want to breed, you know, I want to have 50 clutches next year. Well, I don't think they thought it through as to what that actually means.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, man, like as much as people love animals, not everyone's meant to work with animals. Not everyone gets it. There's some people who don't realize that there's been a fucking dry water bowl for a week straight. Like, hello, like I'm dead serious. There's people who don't fucking connect the dots. And when I see that, I'm like, oh my God, like this is like I'm very like maybe overly, but I do water changes like every day. Like I'm just because I can, you know what I mean? And I know some people have 9 to 5s, or a lot of people do have 9 to 5s. And delicate. But bro, if you can't remember to put water in a dish, don't have this many animals, or cut back, or like stop. Like
Exactly. And
You know
here's
what I
how
mean?
I explain it to people. I put water in this and I set it out on the counter. The next day, am I going to grab it and drink it? No, I'm going to empty it and I'm going to get fresh water out of the sink. And
dude,
it's the same way as leaving water in all these dishes behind me, or all these, you know, these are freedom breeders, so they have the built-in whatever. But anyway, I'm doing waters almost every day for that reason alone.
I had so many really bad hangover mornings. Like I've had, like, for my past, you know, I'll never forget them. But I had this one hangover morning where I woke up so badly thirsty, like I had like the worst cotton mouth, and I remember I remember reaching over to my bed and just grabbing like a water bottle, right? But like I was like partying in a hotel room, so I was there for a few days, and I grabbed one water bottle that like was water, but it was left open for a while. You know what I mean? And I remember I remember drinking it and chugging it and feeling fuzzy shit and drinking it, and remember how bad it hurt my stomach. And I was like, dude, what the fuck was this? I remember going to the bathroom, throwing up the water, and I think like, dude, what do you think these snakes go through when they drink shit water? Like, what do you think they go through when they're drinking
and they
water?
Drink it because that's what they have available.
That's all they have. Yeah. Right. So it's like people overlook the whole, like, I don't believe in doing water changes once every 7 days. That's fucked up. Like, there's so much that can happen within those 7 days of that
who's
water.
Who's changing waters once every 7 days?
That's like a common thing, bro. People talk about it all the time. Like, yeah, you know, once I do water changes once a week. You know what I mean? Once a week water changes. But I feel like that's like the norm. Like the same way people say to fucking keep feeding a ball python until it stops eating. Like that was also like quote unquote misled information too.
I've never heard these things before. Yeah, no, that's
dude. I got told all this shit in the beginning, bro. Oh my god, I had a chondro with a 90 fucking degree hot spot for the first year of its life. No clue what I was doing, bro. You know what I mean? But you have to evolve, Dave. Like you have to learn. And
we didn't even.
Go ahead.
My first chondros were kept in wooden boxes with no external heat because I thought that the ambient in the room was heat enough.
Right.
So yes, we learned, we evolve. Yeah.
But that's the key, is evolving. No matter how long you've been doing something, if you realize that it's not really the best, you should fucking switch it up and swallow your pride.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But with that being said, let me ask you this, Dave. I mean, what are your true intentions about, or what are your true feelings about anyone who's just now getting into the ball python game? Do you feel like they have a pretty steep hill to climb to really gain some traction? Or do you feel like it's still a good time to join the ball python game? Or you know, I just curious on what you think about it.
There are now probably well over 1,000 genes that we've identified in ball pythons. There are so many genes. We haven't even begun to, we aren't even at the stage where we're snowflakes on the tip of the iceberg, let alone being at the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more that we are going to be able to do with ball pythons, and there is always more genes coming out of Africa. One of the things that I want to do there is I can't wait to go through all the bins of babies and pick out all the funky monkeys, and I'm going to import them all back. And you know, I know what to look for. I know what, you know, isn't going to be, they're going to all be dinkers until they're proved out, but I'm not going to bring back a bunch of, oh, this is a weird looking normal. I'm going to be bringing back the ones that I can identify something that could possibly be a trait. But, and then I'm going to sell those to, you know, people so that other people can work with those genes and you know, look at the spot nose. The spot nose looks like nothing, but then you breed it with this gene, and it's just mind blowing, you know? So there are so many genes that are still hidden out there that we have yet to find. And yeah, now is a good time to start in the ball python world. 25 years from now is a good time to start in the ball python world. There's just, everybody asks me, what's the next thing? What's the next big thing? What's going to replace ball pythons? Nothing is going to replace ball pythons. New genes of ball pythons are going to replace ball pythons. There's nothing that's going to replace them. The market is solid. The only people, unfortunately, who shit all over the market and shit all over the hobby are the people that got themselves horribly in debt thinking they were going to get rich quick, and they didn't, and they are bitter, and then they shit on, you know, successful people, and they shit on the hobby itself. And you can always tell the people that shit on this hobby, the people that shit on the market, you know, they're always the ones who got into it thinking
they're the saltiest ones.
That's right. That's right. They're the ones thinking that they were going to get rich quick and didn't. And this is a business. There is a method to it. You know, you have to be smart. You have to treat it like a business. You have to go in knowing that you are going to lose money for the first couple of years as you build up your collection and make your hets and then raise up your hets. You know, you're not ever going to get rich quick.
I say this, Dave, you shouldn't even fucking be thinking of money for the first 3-4 years, if that. Like who, you know, like I got so many people who like are so inspired to get like adult females and get a clutch their first year, but they have really awesome stuff they're raising up. And I'm like, yo, why are you so hurried? Like, I understand if you want to get your feet wet, but if you're like, I need to get 5-6 clutches this year and you're on year 2 or year 1, like you should really just be invested on your own foundation. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's nothing, like I said, some things land in people's lap. If you happen to inquire adults, then fucking go for it. But it does happen, but let it happen to you. Like, don't go try to buy someone else's collection. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the best way to start is from the ground up. And there's so much amazing stuff out there where go start from the ground up. Don't take over someone else's artwork. Like, to start your own. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you know,
this
but
is
there's
what I always
different
tell people.
scenarios. Right.
You know, pick a gene and get known for working with that gene.
Yeah.
So the ball python world is a niche within the reptile world. You have to pick a niche within that niche. So look at JD Constriction. He picked SK Xanthics. He is now the king of Xanthics. You know, pick a gene and start working with it and get known for that gene. And and be in it for the long haul. In this, the camera's backwards. Right here, these racks, these tubs right here, that is a 7-year project that I've been working on. Respect. And this year, I just felt follicles in the females for the first time yesterday. So this is 7 years I've been working on this project that could pay off this year. Be in it for the long game. Yep.
Good for you.
You got to be in it for the long game.
But like, listen, I mean, if you're not in it for the long game, you're gonna struggle with patience. You're gonna have a hard time because you're always gonna be wanting.
Person in the world.
I know, me too. Yeah. That's so funny you say that. But I get it with this stuff. But like my patience like comes into check when it comes to this stuff because I know it's not about this year. It's about fucking 3 years from now. And what can I do? I'm not. And dude, here's the thing, Dave, and you know this. When your mindset's in longevity, time fucking flies, bro. Like time just like 2 years is going to come really, really quick. And that's sad to say because like, you know, time flies when you're having fun, bro. But like, if you're so concerned about what can I get now? What can I get this year? And you're not.
How do I get rich quick? Right.
Yeah. Like, bro,
I've been breeding ball pythons now for over 10 years, well over 10 years, probably close to 15 years. And as a matter of fact, if we want to go back, I bred my first ball pythons back in the 90s. But that was well before the craze, and I just happened to import an adult pair that I have no clue how I got them to breed, but I did. But there it is. But no, seriously, I've been breeding them for, you know, every year consistently for at least the past 13 to 15 years. Nice. And I'm not rich. I'm not a multimillionaire off of this. And I do it because I love doing it. And I love creating that living art. And, you know, these are future investments, you know.
I already really feel rich. My life feels really rich as it is right now. Like the fact that I could be home, work with my animals, focus everything on the podcast and vlog. Like I'm blessed enough to do that. I feel like I'm already balling. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm accepting anything else that God wants to give me at this point. But I'm not like hungry and willing to do shady shit for it. You know what I mean? And I feel like people just need to just let shit happen to them. I tell them all the time, if you're meant for something, things will land in your lap. And then you do something with it. You know what I mean? But you don't fucking get desperate. You don't become a piece of shit. You don't hang out with piece of shits. You just fucking do your thing. It's about the animals. It's not about you.
Bust your ass to get
bust the ass, bro. You know, like don't skip any water days. Don't skip anything, dude. Like put these snakes first. It's a lifestyle. And like, I don't know. I hate people who are like 50% in, like the dedication. Like, dude, if you're keeping animals, these better be your fucking 100% dedication. Like, hello, these are Like, they're not asking to be in your room. You decided to put these things in your room, so do the best you can for it. And
Exactly.
I take that very personal, man. Like, when I go to someone's collection and I don't see that they don't care, like, I try not to judge them, but I don't have a choice because how personal I take my shit like serious. You know what I mean? So
right.
I don't know anyone out there. I'm just saying, man, if you're gonna do it to the best of your ability, because the animal did not ask for this life. You know, like, that's it. That's all I got to say. And you know, I'm just saying, like, just do better. You know.
I agree. So how many people do we have watching right now?
A little bit over 100, 107.
107. That's not too shabby.
We had 126 at one point, and then I started talking about what are we? I think something about death or something. They kind of fell off a little bit, but I think we're good.
Yeah, that does it. Yeah.
Okay.
Do we want to take some questions?
Hold on. I don't know. No, because I still got questions. I'm not done yet. I got a lot. I still got more I need to talk to you about.
Fine.
Okay, now listen. I'm curious. When it comes to you selling your animals, okay, like, you know, when you do have stuff available, where are you selling most of your stuff?
I don't know. Expos. I'm not aggressive at selling them. I've got a bunch of snakes that are coming up on 300 grams that, well, maybe I should list. But, you know, I mean, I'll have them at Tinley, and I've never been aggressive at selling. You know, I'll put them on Morph Market after, you know, I believe that they're ready to go, and a lot of people are like, you know, fed and shed and they're out the door. I just don't do that. I want to make sure that, you know, if somebody's buying from me, they're getting a very well started individual. And I'm just not I love working with them, and I lament at every single one that I sell, and but I can't keep them all.
Right.
But, you know, I've got some Orange Dream pied stuff that's probably pushing 300. If not, it's in between 200 and 300 grams now, and I just, whatever, raise them up, sell them at Tinley. You know, if I don't sell them at Tinley, maybe I'll make another Morph Market, you know, post. But yeah, I'm just really not that aggressive a sale. I mean, Garrett, this guy could sell ketchup popsicles to a woman wearing white gloves, and I'm like jealous of how just amazingly this guy can sell. I can't. I mean, somebody comes up to my table and looks at my stuff, I'll just be like, let me know if you have any questions.
I saw him sell. I saw him sell a hoodie to a girl who had a hoodie on and was holding her husband's hoodie, and she still bought a hoodie. And I was like, "What the fuck? You just put more on your plate."
The dude's magical. I swear to God.
All right, but, so hey, Dave, I have a wrap up question before we get into the hot seat questions. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm curious because you've seen a lot, obviously, as far as different, you know, new keepers coming in and out. But from your perspective, what is the one mistake you see every new keeper making for the most part? And it could either be with a lizard species, a snake species, but in general, like, what are some of the first typical mistakes keepers are making?
They're listening to the person at Petsco or PetSmart.
Ooh, yeah.
And nothing against Petco or PetSmart, you know, they just, like, I'll go get my crickets, you know, at the one down here for my fat tails over there. And even in the reptile, like, I'll be standing there waiting for them to bag up my crickets, and I'll make a comment like, wow, that is a nice veiled. And the response will be like, no, that's a chameleon. And I'm like, are you? And I said, oh, you must. And I keep it going just to see. And I'm like, do you work in the fish department or the reptile department? She goes, I work in the reptile department. And I said, that's a veiled chameleon. And she goes, oh, I didn't know what kind of chameleon it was. I just knew that it was a chameleon. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, there are some people that work for Petco and PetSmart that are very knowledgeable.
Right. It's just not common.
there's enough of them there that have no clue what they're talking about that will give you information as if they know what they're talking about, and that can lead to starting off on the very wrong foot. And so, you know, you always, once you receive new information, the way humans think is that if we have information, previous information in our heads, any new information that comes in will bounce off because that's not what we already believe. And so when people get new information, they have to be open to that new information. When people get new information, they have to second guess that new information. They have to they go online, back it up by several sources.
Right.
You know, not everything is going to be a lie on the internet. A lot of it is. You know, a lot of Facebook groups are. I just sit there and I'll read some of these posts on Facebook groups, and I will just be like, "Oh my God, you know, come on, guys! You don't have to look like you know everything because you don't." And actually, what you're doing is causing damage by telling people that you know everything when you don't. So, anyway. That's my long-winded answer to a very simple question. Facebook
group was like probably one of the worst things, but best things to happen to my social media career. Only because
agreed.
If it wasn't for Facebook, I wouldn't realize like how many fucking pioneers that are just hanging around still, only because they only know how to work Facebook. They don't care about Instagram, but like they fucking are really still around and they're worthy. But these Facebook groups, if you get too wrapped into it, if you are really involved in commenting and it could put you down a real negative, depressing rabbit hole, bro.
Oh my God, yes. And you know what? I will read these comments, but I will very rarely comment myself because I don't have time to get into it with somebody that's bought a leopard gecko 6 months ago and now knows everything. And is going to be belligerent and is going to, you know, continue with their misinformation campaign. I just don't have time to go down that rabbit hole with them. So I will read them, but I will very rarely comment on them.
Right. I think this person wants to audition for your next porn film because he keeps bringing it up. I don't know who it is, but
he worked in porn. That was great.
You really shocked the world on that one. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my God. Hey, listen, this was a great fucking 2 hours, bro. I appreciate this so much. We do have to go through the hot seat questions. I hope you're okay with that. Well, it doesn't matter.
All right. I'm not ready, but you know what? When am I ever ready for anything? Let's do it.
All right, cool. Listen, I don't need an explanation. Just do me a favor and try to pump these out as much as you can. That's what she said. All right. Here we go. Hot seat questions for, is it Dave or Dov?
Dave. Anybody calls me Dov, and
I thought so. I was like, what the fuck?
It's Dave. I
think Desiree tried convincing me to call you Dov, and I was like, "That's his name's not Dov, it's Dave."
She can call me Dov. Everybody else, Dave.
All right, here we go. Hot seat questions for the big homie Dave. You ready, Dave?
Yep.
Frozen Thought or live?
Live.
Egg cut or no cut?
Say that again.
Egg cut or no cut? Would you ever cut an egg? Would you not cut an egg?
No cut. They know what they're doing.
Respect. Okay. Red Chondro Neo or yellow Chondro Neo?
Oh, dude, why would you ask me that? Red.
I know. Okay. Pre-first shed meal or post-first shed meal?
Post.
Yay imports or boo imports?
There's no right answer.
Yeah, dude, if fucking Biden was like, hey, Dave, you make the call right now on this import shit, yes or no, what would you say?
Yes.
Perfect. One reptile you would love to import right now.
Good God, dude.
I know. You'll be all right. Drink some water. Getting hot.
Arboreal alligator lizards.
Wow. Dude, nice. One reptile we should stop importing.
Sulcatas. Well, I don't think we are importing them anymore, are we?
I think any kind of turtle import is illegal right now. I think that's the problem. Tortoises and turtles and all that. So I feel like I always agree with that one. I feel like we should not bring any of those fucking back in. Like, leave them alone, please. With all due respect.
Well, there's more in captivity than there is in the wild. That's for sure.
Yay sports or boo sports?
Yay sports.
Favorite sport?
Football.
Favorite football team?
Minnesota Vikings.
Nice. Favorite Viking of all time?
Oh boy.
Warren Moon. Come on.
No. It would have to be
That was
Carl
mine.
Weathers.
Carl Weathers, respect. Big
Nicest
flexor.
guy.
No.
Not Carl Weathers. Good God. Now, Carl Weathers is the actor.
Bill Weathers.
No, Bill Withers is the guy who I listen to every time he comes on the radio. Carl, yeah, I'm having a real problem remembering names. I think I might be having a stroke.
That's the hot seat questions for you. All right, we'll keep it moving before you fucking have a stroke on us. Big flexor or no flexor?
No flexor.
Okay. Steak or fish?
Steak.
Favorite cut of steak?
New York strip. Good old New York strip.
Can't go wrong. Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
No right answer. In moderation, fine.
So yay alcohol. I'm not saying you're like
yay
fucking
alcohol.
every day, but you're okay.
Yeah.
So favorite alcohol beverage?
Beer.
Nice. Favorite beer?
Anything Belgian white I like.
Oh, so you like a light and professional.
Yeah.
Got it. Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
Fucking Van Halen. What? Why would you even mention fucking Sam? That's just
it's kind of it's a setup question, and people say Sammy sometimes. I fall out of my seat.
Van Halen. Sammy.
Elton John or David Bowie?
Oh, dude, why?
It's gonna get harder.
David Bowie.
Okay. Nirvana or Green Day?
Oh, Nirvana all day.
Yes.
AC/DC
or Slayer?
Green Day.
AC/DC or Slayer?
Slayer.
Yes, I like this. West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
I don't listen to rap.
I should have known. What I
Minneapolis hip hop. There, that's the answer.
Reggae music or country music? Get a pick.
Yeah, both of them are akin to Green Day. And my affection for them. If I had to pick,
yes, if you had to pick, come on, Cusco's reggae. You gotta go reggae, bro. What if Cusco's jamming out for you?
We'll go reggae. Well, UB40 reggae or Bob Marley reggae?
Both.
I'm just gonna go Bob Marley. And leave it at that. Yeah.
Red wine gets my wife going, just so you know. I mean, nobody play that music for a round. I'm saying that song right there changes everything. Get you out of trouble. Okay, little word association. First thing to come to mind: milk,
cereal,
cocoa,
Krispies,
stuck shed,
soak it,
mites,
eradicate them with fire.
Oh shit! Ovulation.
Yay.
Day 60.
Fuck yay.
You don't want to cut? I'm just kidding. Instagram trolls.
I don't even deal with them.
If you had to get rid of one platform forever, and I mean forever, is it going to be TikTok or YouTube?
TikTok.
There it is. Actually, no. I'm curious. If you had to get rid of one platform forever, Facebook or Instagram?
Oh, Facebook. Goodbye.
Yes.
They have caused more damage to humanity than they have done good.
Dave, I'm pretty confident we're going to get the amount of views you wanted on your goal text earlier. I think we did a hell of a job. So great episode. We had well over 120 people at one point during the live. So what do you have to say to everyone who supports you, everyone who's been following your work, everyone who's inspired by you, man?
Dude, thank you all. Thank you all. It's because of you guys watching me that makes it worthwhile for me to do this. Thank you. And rattle on.
Rattle on, my man. Hey, dude, I will be seeing you shortly at the Tinley.
You're coming to Tinley?
Fuck yeah, I'm there.
Tinley is going to be off the fucking hook this week, man. Or this next week. This 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Short. It's coming. So I'll tap into you soon. But thank you so much for spending your night with us, man. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Dave Kaufman, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! All right, buddy. I'll see you later. Thank you.
On, bro.
All right, no problem, man. Thank you. What a guy. What an amazing episode. Thank you to all the viewers, man. Viewers were up. If you happen to tap into this episode late, get the likes up if you don't mind. Likes are really, really respectable, but some people forget to hit the like button. If you really enjoyed this episode, hit that like button for my man Dave. This was an amazing episode. Thank you to everyone who tapped in. Thank you to everyone active inside the live chats. Means a lot. I will have to say I'm very excited for this weekend's episode. Holy Monitor session. We have somebody who's doing some crazy things with these reptiles, man, and mammals as well, imports all around. And this guy is doing things right as an importer, which is really hard to say nowadays. So be ready for this Sunday. We have my man Chris from CM Exotics and Imports going down. Yes, he has all those kind of animals, as you can see on the thumbnail. So it's going to be a big show. Cannot wait. I have so many questions. He just bred some lace monitors. He's bred croc monitors. I just cannot wait to tap into this guy's brain and see what he has going on. So just be ready for that. Like I said, shouts out my Patreon members. Love you guys. If you want to be a part of a sick-ass community, come join our family today. Go down the link below. Join the Trap Talk Patreon family, and I'll send you the link to the Discord. Then you can really fuck with the family. But yeah, man, great episode. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Your boy MJ signing out. Peace.